Welcome to Gurvy Travel's Travel Series. I'm Gurvinder Rabry, owner of Gurvy Travel. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with Trisha Carvajal, the Director of Sales and Marketing with Myriad Marketing representing Costa Rica. So welcome, Trisha.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's so good to have you. Trisha, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes, so as you mentioned, I work with Myriad Marketing. I represent Costa Rica for trade within the U.S. So we promote U.S. tourism to Costa Rica. And I work with the trade communities, I work with travel agents and wholesale partners, tour operators, and make sure that they have all of the information they need to sell the destination and trainings, trade shows, and all that type of good stuff too.
Thank you so much for being here today. So I've actually had the pleasure of experiencing Costa Rica several times. And I feel that each trip that I take to Costa Rica has been different. There's so much to do in Costa Rica, be adventurous or relax on the beach. So can you, for those that haven't been able to travel to Costa Rica, can you describe a trip to Costa Rica for us?
Oh my gosh, Costa Rica is one of the most incredible places that I've ever been. I've been fortunate to go several times now. And I think what sticks out the most to me is the people are so friendly and so happy. Costa Rica has actually been recognized in several publications, as you might have seen, being one of the happiest places in the world with the happiest people. So if that says anything, but it has everything from volcanoes to the most gorgeous beaches to rainforest and like all kinds of wildlife and sustainability is the other thing that I think is the big thing to point out, because they focus so much on it that you really see that in everything they do. Every property, every tour really gives back and takes care of the environment and takes care of the community. So that's been something that I've found to be really special.
That sounds wonderful. Can you describe the differences in some of the destinations like Arenal compared to Monteverde, or going up to Manuel Antonio and finishing off in Guanacaste?
Yeah, so as you're saying, there's so many different aspects to Costa Rica, so many different types of destinations.
Mm-hmm.
There's you can see it here on the screen. There's so many different parts that there are to explore. You can go to Arenal, where you'll see volcanoes. There's relaxing spas. There's the Mystico hanging bridges that you can go to, and really every destination or every area of Costa Rica also has a little bit of everything, whether it's adventure or relaxation. Like going to the beaches, for instance, you can relax down here. If you see like in Punta Arenas or in Guanacaste, you can go to the beach and relax, but then you're a drive away from going and doing zip lining and whitewater rafting and tubing and all that kind of stuff as well.
Do you know if there's a typical itinerary for Costa Rica?
Typical, I wouldn't say there's a typical itinerary for Costa Rica, but I can give you, it's hard to pick, but I can give you kind of what I've done before and what I think would be a great suggestion as far as an itinerary goes. So as far as an itinerary goes, I would say going up to the Caribbean side is something that a lot of people don't necessarily think of when they think of Costa Rica. I've been fortunate enough to go to Tortuguero, which is where you can get there by plane from any of the Costa Rican airports, or you drive and take a canal boat. So it's kind of on a system of canals, which is pretty incredible and completely different than any other part of Costa Rica. Going from there, perhaps then next into Arenal to see the volcanoes, to go into the parks to do Mystico hanging bridges, as I was saying earlier, which was a really fun experience for me. Just seeing the beauty of the volcano, exploring the hot springs. You just can't beat it. It's pretty magical. From there, perhaps heading over to Guanacaste, getting some relaxation on the beach. going to see, you know, the beauty that they have there. I've spent some amazing time there. There's all-inclusive hotels. There's other types of hotels. There's boutique hotels. There's, I mean, it's kind of everything. You can choose, you know, how you want to spend your beach vacation. And again, still drive away from all kinds of adventure. From there, I would probably then go down to Manuel Antonio, which is where I personally have seen some of the most amazing wildlife that I've ever seen. When I was there last, actually in both Guanacaste and Manuel Antonio, I was able to see the whale watching, and we saw a mama whale with the baby whale, because in the summertime, what a lot of people don't know is they migrate up there, and they where they have their babies and are able to feed them in warmer water. So that lasts for a few months in the summer. I think it's June to September, but we were able to see that in both Guanacaste and Manuel Antonio, which is pretty unreal. So that
sounds like it.
That would be a pretty great itinerary. But I would also always say San Jose. I don't think San Jose gets enough credit. So if you fly into San Jose on either end of the trip, I would definitely recommend staying a couple of nights there, seeing what the city has to offer. The gastronomy is amazing. Just cute little neighborhoods and restaurants, and like the whole end of the spectrum, street food, gourmet, everything. It's a pretty awesome place, and that I don't think people talk about enough.
Yeah, I agree. I actually try to encourage my clients to stay in San Jose, you know, whether it's pre or post, just so that they can experience San Jose as well, because it is pretty phenomenal. It's a really nice city with some great eats.
It's a great place. And something else that I'd want to say too is I think a misconception about Costa Rica is people, you know, talk about the roadways, you know, oh, well, I don't want to, you know, drive between these places. And it definitely has roads, you know, just like anywhere that are, you know, bumpy or not paved or whatever. But the main roads that you take to get to any of these places that I mentioned, zero issue. When I was on them, I mean, unless you're taking some crazy back way on ways, but like, I mean, absolutely no issue, at least on my trip, driving between all of these destinations. So
and I was going to say that the experience from, like, let's say for instance Arenal to Monteverde is also the drive.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot to say when you're driving, and you know, you look over and you see alligators down below, or you know, whatever it may be, that, and the lush landscapes all around you.
It's incredible.
It is. And Tortuguero is definitely on my bucket list.
Oh, you have to go.
Yes. I want to see the nestling turtles and so forth. So definitely
my colleague Sarah just came back from there a couple months ago. She hopped around. She said Tortuguero and the turtle hatching for her was, and I'm sad I didn't get to do the turtle hatching when I was there, but she saw it and she said it was the single best travel experience she's had. So
okay, so it's a definite must do for me. Yes, for sure. So do you have a favorite city?
Oh, I think well, my favorite area probably is Manuel Antonio. I think if I had to choose, I think probably because of the whale watching experience, and then some of the monkeys that we saw in the park. And when we flew in, we actually did an amazing flyover over Manuel Antonio, where like kind of the shape of it, you can see the shape of a whale on the land, which is pretty neat. So I don't know, something about Manuel Antonio is pretty amazing to me, and Quepos, the town there too. It's really great. I don't know if I can pick though, because then I'm like, Arenal, like you know, going to the hot springs, it's Tabacon, like you can't beat that. So
that's you know, there's something about each one that's a little different. So the experience that you'll have as you move along is incredible, and I do think it's a destination where you shouldn't just come to an all-inclusive in Guanacaste and not go outside. It's definitely, you know, a country that needs to be traveled.
So that's what, even for those who, I mean, Costa Rica is a perfect destination where people who are like, like, oh, like I'm used to going to, an all-inclusive maybe in Mexico, but I'm thinking about branching out. Well, you can still go to an all-inclusive
Right.
in Costa Rica. You can get that part, but then you like have the opportunity to be able to go out and explore so much more all on one trip.
Yes, agreed. 100% agreed. So weather-wise, is there a better time to come visit Costa Rica in the year?
So the great thing about Costa Rica is it really is a year-round destination, and it depends on. I mean, there's always going to be rain. It's
Hmm.
there's rainforest everywhere. We kind of say, is it less rainy or more rainy? But it depends on the destination within Costa Rica that you're going, like what the seasonality is. But honestly, even I think I've been to each place in what you would call the more rainy season, and the rain doesn't have any impact on tourism really. I would say they're tropical type of storms, they can come in as quick as they go and that type of thing, but it's really a year-round destination.
Yeah, yeah. And many clients, as you know, are now talking about being more comfortable with smaller boutique hotels. Do you think that Costa Rica would cater to them?
100%. And the neat thing about all of these boutique hotels that Costa Rica does have is I feel like there's uh, so much like character and culture
Hmm.
involved in all of them, and they're all also so focused on sustainability,
Yes.
and they're able to, they cater to their clients, they cater to their country and to the earth, and it's a pretty unique experience. So yeah, it's in any destination within Costa Rica, you can definitely find really amazing boutique hotels.
Wonderful. And how is Costa Rica managing through this pandemic? And what health and safety protocols are being put in place?
So Costa Rica has done a pretty amazing job. In the last several weeks, we've seen a steady decline and really effectively flattening the curve there. But they're taking it very, very seriously. The healthcare system in Costa Rica is really, the top in Central America. They always do such a good job of handling any type of scenario. And for this, they're taking it very seriously. So anyone who any resident or anyone who's in Costa Rica who leaves the country will be on a 14-day quarantine when they come back
Mhm.
into the country, and they will also be fined. They don't want them to leave the country and take a risk of bringing anything back. We want to contain it right now while we can and keep people safe. Keep their own residents safe, but also future tourists safe by making
Mhm.
sure that we get rid of this now. So that being said, June 15th is what we have the date for now for international borders to open. But I just say that with the caveat that the government will extend that if they think it's necessary. Um,
Mhm.
but right now, we're hopeful for June 15th.
Very comforting.
Yes.
And I know that you work with travel advisors, and in your opinion, we've seen a lot that has been going on, and why a travel advisor is so pinnacle to planning your vacation with the impact of the pandemic and having to rebook or cancel or postpone.
Hmm.
Why do you think clients should use a travel advisor when booking their next getaway to Costa Rica?
So, I mean, I'm personally a huge fan of travel advisors. I always use a travel advisor. I think travel advisors have not only the knowledge but the relationships
Hmm.
with the destination, with us who are in contact with everyone in the destination, with hotels and so forth. And they even though we're in unprecedented times, they really know how to handle these types of situations, and it's what they do. But also they're so educated on all of these destinations. Like I told you earlier, but my job is to educate them on Costa Rica and make sure that they have the information that they need. So always trust your travel advisor because they truly have all the resources at their hand and can get a hold of the right people for their clients, and obviously have their best clients' interests at heart. So.
Can't agree with you more. So, is there anything else that you'd like to add, Trisha?
I think other than I hope that everyone is staying safe, and when international borders do open, we
Hmm.
are ready to welcome anyone to Costa Rica when the time is right and when it's safe. And in the meantime, stay safe and let us know if you have any questions.
Well, thank you so much for sitting and chatting with me today and allowing everyone to experience Costa Rica. The photos are amazing and beautiful, and hopefully we'll be able to see you in Costa Rica soon.
I hope so too. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having me.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.